Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Cassie and this is going to be a book review for Notorious Sorcerer by Davinia Evans. I just finished this book, so it's very fresh in my mind, what I like and what I don't like about it. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the synopsis. So, the synopsis, I have to read it off my laptop. I don't have the actual physical book. It was an ebook from NetGalley, so here we go. Since the city of Bezum was shaken half into the sea by a magical earthquake, the Inquisitors have policed alchemy with brutal efficiency. Nothing too powerful, too complicated, too much like real magic is allowed, and the careful science that's left is kept too expensive for any but the rich and indolent to tinker with. Scion Velo, a glorified errand boy scraping together lesson money from a little interplanar fetch and carry, doesn't qualify. But when Scion accidentally commits a public act of impossible magic, he's catapulted into the limelight. Except the limelight is a bad place to be when the planes themselves start lurching out of alignment, threatening to send the rest of the city into the sea. Now Scion, a dockside brat who clawed his way up and proved himself on rooftops with saber in hand, might be Bezum's only hope, because if they don't fix the cascading failures of magic in their plane, the powers in their armies in the other three will do it for them. So, that is the synopsis. Next, I will talk about what I thought of the book. As for my personal review of the book, I liked it well enough. I liked the characters and how they interacted with each other. I liked the magic system or the alchemy. I liked that there was 4 planes that you can kind of travel through and how they went about doing that traveling. I thought that was very interesting. I don't want to go into too much detail though, because I don't want to spoil anything. I liked a lot of the grouping of how they kind of had their own cliques and groups and whatnot. That was pretty interesting. Some things I would have liked was a little bit more expanding of the world itself. Not to say that there wasn't any world building, but I would have liked to have heard a little bit more about the world around Bezum, because all you ever really hear about in the book is about Bezum. There might be a few other locations, but they're very intangible. I wish that they were more descriptive of the world around Bezum. Because I'm kind of wondering, based on something that was said in the book, if it's all the same. Is everything ruled the same? Do we have different countries? I don't know. Because this is just, I don't know if this is a country, if Bezum is a country, or if Bezum is a city. I'm not sure. Maybe it's in the book and I missed it, but for some reason I want to say that it's a city. A little bit more could have been described about the different parts of the city. There was one part of the city that I understand why it wasn't mentioned very often, but I would have liked to have known more about it. But I understand why it wasn't mentioned very often. Some of the things that I would have liked to have seen was maybe a map. I do not recall there being a map, but then again, this is an ebook, so maybe there will be a map when the book actually is published and it comes out. There might be a map in it. Maybe a glossary for terms and what they mean, because there was a lot of terms that I know that you kind of make up words and whatnot for different things when you're writing and creating worlds, but sometimes without a glossary, even with context, it's kind of, what does that term mean in this context? I'm not sure. What does that title mean to this person in this society? I'm not really sure, because there's no real explanation of the standing of society. And if there is, it's very vague. I know I'm saying a lot, and I apologize. I'm just trying to get all my thoughts out. That one again. So another thing I would have liked to see is at every chapter, or whenever they change points of view, for there to be the name or something to indicate that we're changing point of view now. There was no indication that they were going to change points of views within chapters or from one chapter to the next. It was just all of a sudden you're reading from a different perspective, and you're just like, what just happened? Who am I reading? Who is this now? There was that. Another thing that I did like about the book was the romance. I enjoyed the romance. I don't get to read it in actual books very often. So I was very excited to read that. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm kind of wondering how it's going to evolve, considering what happens. Which I'm not going to tell you what happens, because you're going to have to read the book. But I definitely enjoyed the romance, and I want to see where it's going to go. And it was not primarily about the romance, if you're worried about that. It was more of a side note. This was definitely a fantasy with just a little side note of romance. Overall, I greatly enjoyed the book, and I'm thinking about giving it a 3.5 to a 3.75 stars. For my own personal reading tastes, because I did find some things to be a little vague, or like I said, with the terms and the map and whatnot, kind of lowers my bar just a little bit. The more I don't understand something, the less enjoyment I get out of it, the lower my rating. So I'm thinking a 3.5 to a 3.75 is where I'm going to be putting this one. Hopefully you enjoyed this review of Notorious Sorcerer by Davina Evans. And if you have any interest, it comes out September 13th. If you like this video, hit like. And if you want to see more by me, hit subscribe. Good night.